Hi guys, welcome back, and in this video I will focus on optimization. I will divide this concept into two videos. The first one, therefore this one, will be for complete beginners, and the second one will be more advanced one, in which I will show you how I personally optimize my expert advisors. I will show you some advanced techniques. I will explain a lot of things. Yeah, but that's for the next video. So the first thing I think that is good to mention is why should we optimize our expert advisors? Usually when you are developing some expert advisors, it will have a lot of variables in it. Variables are values that can be changed. Okay, so for example, if I create an expert advisor that is based on RSI indicator, then the RSI period is a variable. Therefore, it can have different values, and I can change and choose those values. So for example, I can choose for an RSI to have period of 14, or I can choose for the RSI to have period of 15, for example. Okay, and the same principle goes for a lot of things in your expert advisor. It goes for your take profit, stop loss, for example, if you use a trailing stop, time filter, break even, or any other functionalities. And yeah, and the goal with optimization is to find the best settings for your expert advisor, because the expert advisor on its own or expert advisor with bad set of settings won't be profitable, and expert advisor with a good set of settings will be profitable. So that's why we optimize our expert advisors. For this optimization, I chose one of my very simple expert advisors that I will first show you. I will show you how it works, explain how it works, and then we will move on to the optimization part. So if you want to optimize or test your EA, in your MT5 you have to go to view and then to click on this strategy tester, and then you have different options to choose from here. I will start with the single option. This is not for optimization, but since I want to show you the expert advisor that I will be optimizing, this is something that I have to do. So if I click on start, you can see that on chart there are two indicators. The first one is ADX indicator and the second one is MACD. ADX has period of 200 and MACD has these settings that you can see right here. And the expert advisor is very simple. The first thing it does is that it looks for a trend based on this ADX indicator, and then it waits for MACD to create an entry signal. So if I run this, you can see that here it opens a buy position, sell position, buy position. Yeah, so it's very simple expert advisor. But now we can notice that there are, or as I was saying before, there are different values we can input into the ADX indicator and MACD indicator as well. And as you can probably say, is that with different settings we would take different positions, and therefore we would have different outcomes as well. And until we optimize this EA, we can't say what are the best settings. So let's find out which are the best settings. So I will go back to this overview panel, and here you can choose from these 3 options for the optimization. I will go with genetic optimization because it's the best one in my opinion. It doesn't take that much time. It gives you a very valuable optimization, and it's very easy to use. In the following video, so the more advanced video, I will use this forward optimization because that's something I always use with my personal expert advisors, but in this video I will stick with this genetic optimization. So I have to click on this, and the first thing I will do after that is to go to this inputs tab right here. And here you can see all of the inputs that I have created for my expert advisor. You can see take profit, stop loss, volume, so I can choose my volume right here, and then I have also added these positions function, so with the break even, trailing stop, and also a time filter. But since this is for the complete basics, I will only focus on these indicator settings. So here you can see that I have my ADX period and then these 3 parameters for my MACD indicator. You can also notice these boxes right here that I can check or uncheck. Okay, if I check the box, that means that I want to optimize that specific parameter. So that's why I have checked all of these 4 boxes, and I didn't check any of other boxes because I just want to optimize these parameters. Then you can notice that once I check the box, then I can also change these start, step, and stop values, which I can't do with these unchecked boxes, as you can see. So what do these columns mean? So how does the optimization work is that you give it the first start value. So let's say that I want to test the ADX period starting at value of 20, and then I have to set my step period. So that means like what's the step for each optimization. So if I start this optimization, I will start optimizing ADX at the value of 20. The next optimization I will go to 30, so I step by 10, then 40, so I step by 10, 50, 60, 70, and so on until I reach this stop value. So this is my stopping value. For the ADX, I chose a value of 500. And then if we check here into the steps column, you can see how many steps are we going to take. So for this ADX, it's 49 steps. And the same applies for the slow period, fast period, and I forgot to check the signal period as well. So these are the settings. For the slow period, we start at period of 8, we increase by 4 and go until we reach 40, which yields into 9 steps. Then for the fast period, we start at 6, increase by 2, and we go until we hit 20. That yields in 8 steps. And for signal period, we start at value of 6, we increase by 2, and we go until we reach a value of 30, which yields into 13 steps. And right here down below, this is the number of all of the different possibilities that we can test. If I would choose here the complete optimization, I would optimize on every of every possibility that is there. So I would run almost 46,000 rounds of optimization. But with genetic optimization, what it does is that it reduces this number to something like, it depends on the number, but in this case I think it will be something like 1500 rounds of optimization only. And even though it decreases the rounds of optimization, it will still yield the best results it can find. So that's why I'm using the genetic optimization. So after I set up these inputs, I have to go back to the settings, and here are some different values that I have to set as well. So the first is to find my expert. I did so here you can see your expert advisor name, and it has to have this EX5 extension. Then you have to choose for which symbol you want your expert advisor to optimize for. So you can choose any of these symbols you want. You can also go, for example, for gold or any indices. That's up to you, but in my case I will stick to Euro USD. The next option or the next setting you have to set is the time frame. This will differ based on your EA. So if it's like a very high speed scalping EA, then you, for example, want to use something like 5 minutes. If it's like a trend following EA, you can go with 50 minutes or 1 hour. So yeah, this depends on your type of EA, but I will go with 1 hour right here. The next very important thing is to select the time period you want to optimize your expert advisor on. The rule or the fact is that as you select lower time period, so for example only 2 years or 4 years, then the results will be far better than if you, for example, choose that you want to optimize your expert advisor on the last 10 years. Okay, so that's it. But the thing is that if you go, for example, for 2 or 4 years for optimization, then you have to be very careful with your approach to the optimization, because it's very simple to overfit the expert advisor, and that's something I will talk in the next video. But for this case we can choose that we want to optimize since 2022 till today. Forward option I will stick with no, because in this video I don't want to use forward option. In the following video I will, but for now let's stick with not using the forward option. Now, delay. That's something I would also recommend to use, because in a real life market it won't happen that you won't have any delays. Okay, and the rule I go by is that I like to optimize my expert advisors on worse conditions than they will be on a live account. So that's why I always or usually choose something like 100 or even 500 depending on the EA. So I will go with 100 milliseconds right here. Now you also have to choose on which data you want to test your EA. So this is also pretty difficult to choose, because once again it depends on the type of your expert advisor. So the rule that I go by is that if I intend to use that expert advisors on my live account, then I always optimize and test on every tick based on real ticks, because this is the option that will give you the most real data that you can get. Every tick option is also nice, but yeah, it doesn't replicate the actual data that precisely as this option does. The 1 minute OHLC, that's not something I would use for my final optimization. I can use this option like in the early stages of the optimization, just to see whether my EA has some sort of potential. Yeah, so that's for this. And open prices, I don't use that one, only for indicators. But yeah, I would, in this case, I will stick to 1 minute OHLC, since it's pretty fast to optimize on. Because if you go like with these options, this takes more time than 1 minute, and then every tick based on real ticks, it takes even more time than every tick. So yeah, that's not something I want to do here. So I will choose this. And moving on to the deposit. Deposit also depends on the type of EA you are optimizing. So for example, if you are using a grid EA that is usually heavily dependent on the deposit, then you have to think about the deposit you want to optimize your grid EA on. The same goes with, for example, when you are using something like martingale or stuff like this, where you are dependent on having a lot of capital and being able to open multiple positions at once. But since this EA doesn't use any of these systems, I will stick to this initial deposit of 3000 USD. And the last thing that you can change is the leverage, and it's the same thing. This depends on your expert advisor. So if you need to open more positions at once, go with higher leverage. But if you use some simple expert advisor such as this one, then you can choose whatever leverage you want. Okay, so I think this is all you need to know. And after you set up the inputs and the settings, then you can click on start, and a graph will pop up on your chart. On this graph you can see like these dots represent on the x-axis, it represents the passes. So this is like the first round of optimization, second round, and it goes on. Okay, so this is like the progress in time of optimization, and on y-axis this represents profit factor. Profit factor is one of the key metrics that you want to focus on when you are optimizing your EA, because yeah, it's a fact that higher the profit factor, better the expert advisor. And yeah, so our optimization is done. And if we check our optimization results, we can see different combinations of our settings. So the combination of our settings are displayed right here. So this is the setting that we were optimizing, and then, sorry, I messed up here, and then you can see the following setting. So I will get to this later on. The first thing I want to talk about are these metrics that you can see right here. Also, MT5 optimization has this very nice feature, and that is that you can differ between good and bad results based on the color of this number. So if it's like this green, then it's a good sign. If it's something like this orange, then it's a bad sign. Yeah, and if you see something like this, so it's a red color, then you don't want to use that EA. but that's just like something that's nice to look at. So when I am looking at the optimization results, there are just a few metrics that I focus on, and those are total positions and also the profit factor. The rest of the metrics can be also important. It once again depends on the type of the EA that you are optimizing for. So for example, if you are optimizing a grid EA, then the most important factor will be this drawdown. But for this type of EA, it's total positions and profit factor. And what I am looking for? I am looking for an EA that opens a lot of total positions. So it opens a lot of positions, but still has pretty nice profit factor. What I am trying to avoid are EAs that open just a few positions and have nice profit factor, because that implies that I am cherry picking the best settings, and that's not something I want to do. So if I look at these results, you can say that this one at the top is the best one. So this one uses ADX period of 20, slow period MACD 8, 18 and 20. But if I check these results, I have to ask myself. So if I see this, the first thing that comes into mind is that isn't this optimization even more significant, because the change between the profit factors is not that significant, but it takes a lot more positions. Therefore this result is more significant, and it also takes like a lot of profit. So this is something you have to be aware of, because in this case I would say that this optimization is better than this one. Okay, so if I run this optimization as a test, so I can see the results, you can see the graph of the optimization right here, and here is the backtest where you can see the results of the test for that particular set of settings. Yeah. So this is something you can go through. You basically see the same thing there as you do right here. So this is the profit factor, recovery factor. Also, this is nice to see. And yeah, it's like with the backtest, there's one thing I also like to focus on, and that is, the first thing is this winning percentage. So here you can see that I have won 88% of all positions, but we have to give this number a context, and the context you can find right here. So this is the average profit and the average loss. So yeah, and once you have these numbers, then you can create your own calculations to see whether you can be profitable with this winning percentage and this risk reward ratio in the long term. Okay, so that's just something that's very helpful for me personally. Then if you scroll down, you can see your entries divided into these hours, entries by weekdays, but that's not something I am interested that much. What I'm interested in is either profit and losses by weekdays, okay, and profits and losses by hours, because based on this, what you can later on do is that right here you can clearly say that for some reason Tuesday is a losing day, and then what I can do is that I can just disable trading on Tuesday for this particular EA, and then I would enhance my results. And the same thing goes for the profits and losses by hours. But this is a little bit more complex because sometimes, like, we open a position, for example, at 8 a.m. and then we hold the position until 15 p.m. or 3 p.m. and then there's a question like, should I disable 8 a.m. or 13 or 3 p.m. and yeah, so that's not something that simple to determine. But yeah, the weekdays are more simple. Okay, and you just have here some other statistics that you don't have to be that much aware of. Okay, so this was our first test. I will also run a second test just to prove my point that as you go for a longer, higher time span, so for the last 10 years, then the results will get worse. So if we check once again, our top results were of profit factor of 1.65. So let's keep that in mind and let's see how the next optimization over the last 10 years goes. Okay, so here we can see our results over the different iterations. Yeah, and here if we can click on this optimization results, we can see the results as we are getting so far. Okay, so let's wait. I hope it won't take that much time. If it does, then I will just speed or fast forward to the end of this optimization. Okay, and it does take a lot of time, and I'm not sure if I want to wait for it to complete. I probably don't. Okay, so I'm stopping this optimization, and you'll just have to take my word for it that as you go for longer time spans, then the results get worse. But on the other side, if you go for higher time spans, then you like get more reliable outcomes from the optimization, because even though that the results are not that great, you can with certainty or you can be fairly certain that you will get those results in the future. So that's the upside, because you can't say that with optimization on only 2 years, for example, but you can say that with optimization on over 10 years. Okay, so this is it for this video. I hope it was helpful, and yeah, see you in the next video on this topic. Bye.